There's no law against being an is the thing. And I think one thing that's interesting about that case, not just from a kind of like how did he win perspective, but from a sort of business and power perspective, is I think that is what unleashes, Elon Musk in a big way. It's what gives Elon permission, not just legal permission, but maybe cultural permission to sort of go wild on Twitter, which ultimately led to his acquisition of Twitter, to his embrace of these kind of extreme political positions.
They're blackmailing me with advertising? Blackmail me with money? Go yourself. Go yourself. Is that clear?
Money has a strange way of losing its meaning once people reach a certain level of success. And when numbers stop feeling real, purpose starts slipping away. For the world's richest figures, that emptiness often pushes them into bizarre, reckless territory. Some lean into philanthropy, some chase clout, while others stay permanently tangled in controversy, unable to sit still or stay quiet. But when it comes to billionaires unraveling in search of something more, no one has spiraled quite like Elon Musk. His rise is flashy, loud, and impossible to ignore, yet it feels less like a finish line and more like a restless loop he can't escape. After building massive companies like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk stacked a net worth reported to exceed $500 billion, putting him on a path few humans have ever walked. Some even argue he's positioned to become the world's first trillionaire, a title that sounds impressive, but also isolating at that level. Outside of business, Musk has branded himself as a free speech crusader, an innovation savior, and the man determined to push humanity forward at any cost. Known for impulsive tweets and non-stop ambition, he's locked himself into tech history as someone untouchable, loud, and permanently influential. Still, while fans paint him as a visionary genius and a real-life Tony Stark, controversy follows him closely. Many former employees and insiders argue he hasn't earned the level of praise he receives. Claiming credit was often taken where it wasn't due. From worker treatment to aggressive business tactics and a sudden dive into politics, Musk has left chaos behind him. Some critics even argue the world might function better with less of his influence shaping public conversation. Over time, Elon has crafted a narrative of a difficult childhood. His father, Elon Musk, had a history of domestic violence and is widely seen as far from a healthy role model. While that environment was clearly unstable, Elon still grew up with significant financial comfort.
Started out as a joke, and we decided to make it real.
Does anybody tell you no? Does anybody go, Elon, maybe for yourself, but selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Once one of the kids said to him, "Look at the moon, it's 1 billion miles away." And he said, "Well, no, it's actually under 250,000 miles away." And they said, "Oh, Elon."
Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, is being accused of committing securities fraud by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
His father owned a profitable emerald mine in the 80s, and his mother worked as a successful model, meaning the family was never struggling the way the story sometimes suggests. The family had enough money to travel internationally and enroll Elon and his siblings in some of the top schools in South Africa. That kind of lifestyle wasn't normal or average for the time. In one story often mentioned, Elon reportedly cried for days trying to convince his father to buy him a motorbike, and eventually, Errol gave in and bought it for him. That alone paints a picture of comfort, not survival. For South Africa in the 80s, this wasn't regular living. This was privilege. Private education, overseas travel, and expensive toys weren't common, especially during a period of economic instability. Yet in recent years, Musk has strongly pushed back on any suggestion that he grew up wealthy. He has repeatedly denied that his father was involved in an emerald mine, even calling the story completely made up. At one point, he openly challenged people to prove the mine ever existed, mocking the idea and brushing it off as internet fiction. According to him, the whole emerald mine narrative was exaggerated and false. What makes this confusing is that in a 2014 interview, Musk spoke very differently. In that conversation, he openly referenced his father's involvement in the emerald business, even framing it as a real part of his upbringing. That version of events directly clashes with his later denials, creating a noticeable contradiction. After Musk began distancing himself from that story, the interview reportedly became harder to find online.
That he's sold over 20,000 already, and a lot of it, I'm guessing, is just investment to boring companies.
You just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
If I were an employee at Twitter right now, I'd probably just do your job. Don't let them know your name.
For a long time, no major outlet pressed him on the discrepancy, and the topic quietly faded from public discussion. Eventually, Elon Musk himself spoke publicly and confirmed that he had owned a share in an emerald mine and had significant assets, including a private plane. That revelation didn't match the image of a man barely scraping by or struggling to support his family. This raises an obvious question. Why deny a comfortable upbringing at all, unless there's something about that past you don't want examined too closely? According to Errol, the wealth existed, but the home environment was far from stable, adding another layer to the story. At this point, it's clear Elon didn't start from nothing, no matter how often that narrative gets repeated. Claims that his entire career was funded by emerald money are likely exaggerated, but denying any advantage at all feels unnecessary and only fuels more suspicion. Considering the mountain of evidence proving he worked relentlessly for over 3 decades to reach his level of success, the constant dishonesty feels unnecessary, yet this pattern of bending the truth shows up again and again across his career. In many situations, he didn't just exaggerate, he flat out denied reality even when receipts already existed. One of the clearest examples involves 2 engineers, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Both shared a vision of building a cleaner future, which led them to design a fully electric car and officially launch Tesla in 2003. Their goal was simple: push electric vehicles into the mainstream long before anyone else was willing to take the risk. In 2004, Elon Musk took interest in the company and invested $7.5 million of his own money. That move made him the largest shareholder and landed him the role of chairman. His contribution mattered, no doubt, but it came after the foundation was already laid. When asked about Tesla's origins, Elon often told the story as if he created the company himself. He spoke at length about Tesla's beginnings, while leaving out Martin and Mark entirely. This wasn't a one-time slip. It became a long-running narrative that convinced the public he was the sole founder for more than a decade. That illusion only cracked when the original creators publicly stepped forward to correct the record. By then, the damage was already done, and the myth had settled in. This kind of omission might seem minor coming from an average person, but from someone with massive influence and global reach, it raises serious concerns. Over time, Elon has pushed products that directly affect everyday lives, from transportation to communication. When delays pile up, timelines shift, and quality claims don't match reality, trust starts to erode. Instead of correcting course, he continued overstating release dates and overselling capabilities, which repeatedly led to awkward and public setbacks. Yeah, right. The whole armored glass pitch felt pointless from the jump.
It's never boring. And look, I think this is a big win for Twitter. Yeah, he's brilliant. He sees the future. He's a driver. Look, for sure, he's a bit temperamental and irascible.
If I were an employee at Twitter right now, I'd probably just do your job. Don't let them know your name.
This was supposed to be a work truck, and a work truck is expected to perform like one. That was the standard Elon himself set. Instead of focusing on real utility, the presentation leaned heavy on gimmicks that didn't actually improve performance where it mattered. When compared to other trucks in the same price range, the results were underwhelming. Even accounting for tough testing conditions, it's hard to ignore how far reality fell from the promises. The bigger issue is that Elon's habit of exaggeration isn't just marketing noise. In certain cases, it creates real risks for people who trust those claims. That concern has followed Tesla since the rollout of Autopilot, a system marketed as advanced self-driving tech. Federal regulators have since linked hundreds of crashes and multiple ends of life to its use. For someone with near unlimited resources, the expectation would be aggressive fixes and accountability. Instead, the response often felt dismissive, which only deepened public doubt. This pattern is one reason people hesitate to trust his newer inventions. Some ideas clearly have potential, especially in areas that could improve accessibility and quality of life. But when history shows repeated overpromising and weak follow-through, skepticism makes sense. Many critics argue that Elon avoids responsibility by leaning into a playful, almost childish public image. That persona softens backlash and helps him sidestep consequences when things go wrong. It's a strategy that's worked for years, but it's also fueled frustration. That same behavior has led to questionable business decisions that left employees and partners dealing with the fallout. In a CNBC interview, Tesla's original founders admitted that working with Elon wasn't smooth at all. Beyond his technical input, they described his behavior after joining the company as disruptive and difficult, adding yet another crack to the myth. After a series of quiet but suspicious events, Mark and Martin were eventually pushed out of the very company they helped create.
After PayPal, I decided I wanted to get back into electric vehicles and make something happen in that arena, particularly since GM had come out with the EV1, and I thought, okay, well, there's not really a need for a startup company to develop electric cars because obviously GM is going to create the EV2 and the EV3. So I thought, okay, well, we've got to try to create an electric car company.
Yeah, and he was always supportive, from the beginning, but he wasn't the founder in the sense of he wasn't, we started it.
Well,
But
I mean,
that's
this is one of the things that I found kind of fascinating about him is that he's actually accomplished some amazing things in his own right.
He's totally amazing.
Yeah, SpaceX is amazing, and he's done some interesting things with Tesla for sure. I'm not sure why he has to also say that he was a founder when he wasn't. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
One moment in particular stands out. In 2006, the New York Times published an article about Tesla that credited the original founders while leaving Elon's name out entirely. That omission didn't sit well with him at all. Shortly after the article went live, Elon sent a sharply worded email to the founders expressing how upset he was about the coverage. He said he felt insulted and embarrassed by the article, pointing out that not only was he unmentioned, but Martin was even referred to as the chairman. He made it clear that if anything like that happened again, the relationship with Tesla should be considered over, even if it meant pulling out a multi-million-dollar partnership over a single news article. Not long after, Mark and Martin were voted off their own company. While there's no hard proof showing Elon directly orchestrated their removal, the timing raised eyebrows. Martin later filed a lawsuit accusing Elon of defamation, slander, and breach of contract. He claimed Musk spread false narratives and deliberately tried to erase his role in Tesla's founding. Once Martin was gone, Elon wasted no time naming himself CEO, which only made the situation feel more questionable. To make things even stranger, the lawsuit ended with an undisclosed settlement. No details were ever released, and no one involved publicly explained what really happened behind closed doors. That silence led many to speculate whether money, pressure, or legal leverage played a role in keeping things quiet. With Elon's level of wealth and influence, few people believe anything was off the table if his image was at stake. This wouldn't be the last time his business decisions raised concerns. In another situation, his leadership choices eventually led to him being removed as CEO of his own company.
Now I'll show you Tesla on my glass. Yeah, so it's still down there. Or Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Yeah. Sure? Yeah. Oh my fucking god. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
Should we try on the board?
Sorry? It didn't go through. So that's a plus side.
Taking extended vacations while his businesses faced serious internal problems only reinforced the perception of someone avoiding responsibility rather than confronting it head-on. You could argue things actually ran smoother when he wasn't around, because his presence had a habit of either fixing everything or completely derailing it. Sometimes it even led to bizarre business moves, like randomly selling flamethrowers through his construction startup, The Boring Company. On paper, that idea made zero sense, but by now, it was clear that if Elon believed in something, he was pushing it forward regardless of optics or potential backlash. No matter how wild an idea sounded, Elon followed through, often skating right up to legal gray areas without hesitation. The flamethrower stunt ended up selling around 20,000 units in a short time, pulling in roughly $10 million almost overnight. It wasn't practical, useful, or necessary, but it worked. As if that wasn't enough, shortly after selling out the flamethrowers, Elon announced another product. This time, it was a perfume reportedly designed to smell like burnt hair. The concept felt random and uncomfortable, leading some people to question what exactly inspired it in the first place. The explanation was vague, and that only added to the unease. Some critics argued this was another indirect attempt to funnel attention and money toward The Boring Company by turning fans into customers under the guise of a joke. Others believed it was nothing more than an elaborate troll aimed at proving he could sell literally anything to his audience. Visiting the website didn't help clear things up. The layout felt unserious, filled with strange slogans and sarcastic descriptions that made it look more like an April Fool's prank than a real product launch. Despite that, the perfume reportedly brought in around $2 million, proving once again that hype alone was enough. By this point, it was obvious Elon thrived on juggling multiple ventures at once. That image turned him into a poster figure for hustle culture and productivity, obsessed corners of the internet. People praised his grind without questioning the cost. Unfortunately, employees and insiders have described a darker side of working under him. Many felt they were dealing with a cold, distant boss who lacked empathy. While Elon grew up with financial security, that comfort came with emotional instability. A harsh father who constantly doubted him, and years of bullying at school left scars. His childhood is often described as deeply traumatic, shaping the detached behavior people still notice today. They piled on top of him and kept hitting him, kicking him repeatedly in the head. By the time it stopped, his face was so swollen it barely looked human, and his eyes were almost impossible to see. The physical injuries eventually healed, but they were nothing compared to the emotional damage that followed. What made it worse was that his father reportedly sided with the kid who attacked him, offering support instead of protection, with no clear reason why. After Elon was discharged from the hospital and returned home, things didn't get easier. According to accounts, his father exploded on him, forcing him to stand there for nearly an hour while being yelled at and insulted. He was called an idiot, told he was worthless, and treated with zero compassion. Growing up in that kind of environment shaped a person constantly chasing approval, and many believe that need for validation later influenced how he dealt with people around him. That extreme work ethic people praise today comes with serious downsides. In some countries, the expectations he sets would straight up violate labor laws. Elon has publicly suggested that pressure only becomes abuse when it's forced, claiming he makes expectations clear from the start and lets employees decide if they can handle it. He has repeatedly warned workers about the intensity they should expect. After acquiring Twitter in 2022, he sent an email laying out an ultimatum. He wrote, "We will need to be extremely hardcore. This will mean working long hours at high intensity only. Exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. If you want to be a part of the new Twitter, click yes."
It's not a good idea to leave the office when there are like a lot of major things underway which are causing people a great deal of stress. But it was a combination of needing to raise money, and I had not gotten married earlier that year and not had any vacation or honeymoon or anything, so it was kind of a combined financing trip / honeymoon.
Yeah.
And and anyway, away for 2 weeks, and there was just so much. There was just a lot of worry, and that caused the management team to decide that I wasn't the right guy to run the company.
Anyone who didn't agree by the deadline was offered 3 months of severance. The result was immediate. Roughly 30% of employees left on the spot, and nearly half were later let go. The remaining staff were banned from working remotely, locking them into a rigid structure overnight. While this leadership style may drive results, it also creates a tense, high-stress environment. Critics argue his expectations often show a lack of empathy. Elon has even joked about possibly being on the autism spectrum, a condition that can affect communication and emotional connection, though experts caution against using it as an excuse for harmful workplace behavior. However, his mother later clarified that Elon was never formally diagnosed as a child. Whether he is autistic or not, one thing has always been clear: he has struggled to relate to people around him, both online and in real life. That disconnect has repeatedly shown up in his personal relationships, sometimes in brutal ways. During an argument with one of his ex-wives, he reportedly left her with a cutting remark no partner ever wants to hear. He told her, "If you were my employee, I would fire you." He then followed it up by calling her a moron and an idiot. The comment wasn't framed as a joke or sarcasm. It was cold, dismissive, and deeply personal. Another ex-wife later defended him, claiming he simply communicates differently. According to her, he processes ideas in a very literal and intense way that most people struggle to understand. Still, the fact that she also became an ex adds weight to the idea that this behavior isn't just misunderstood genius, but a recurring pattern. That lack of social awareness is even more obvious on social media. Over the years, Elon's tweets have ranged from awkward to reckless. One of the most talked about moments was his decision to give his child an unconventional name, something his mother later said was very on brand for him, even as a kid. For a long time, he faced little consequence for insulting people online. That changed when he became involved in a $190 million defamation lawsuit after calling a cave diver a deeply offensive term during an online exchange. The case was eventually dismissed in court. Elon was represented by high-profile attorney Alex Spiro, who also works with celebrities like Jay-Z and Kim Kardashian. With that level of legal backing, Musk has managed to walk away from multiple legal battles, each outcome raising more questions than answers. In 2018, a single tweet about Tesla stock triggered serious scrutiny from regulators. The fallout suggested possible market manipulation and landed him in trouble with the SEC. Just days later, Musk settled without admitting wrongdoing. Both he and Tesla were fined $20 million, and he agreed to step down as chairman for 2 years. Compared to the potential penalties tied to securities fraud, many saw it as a surprisingly light outcome.
Terrible. Shouldn't buy one. I said don't buy this flamethrower. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. That's what I said. But still people bought it.
Yeah,
there's
they're not gonna
nothing I
listen.
could do to stop them.
It's you
I
build
could
it,
not
they will
stop
come.
them. I said don't buy it. It's a bad idea.
How many did you make?
It's dangerous. It's wrong. Don't buy it. Still people bought it. I just couldn't stop them.
How many did you make?
20,000.
And they're all gone.
In 4 days? They sold out in 4 days.
Later that same year, Musk also faced sexual misconduct allegations involving a SpaceX flight attendant, adding yet another layer to his growing list of controversies. According to the woman involved, Musk allegedly exposed himself during a private massage session on a flight, and then offered to buy her a horse if she agreed to do more than what she was hired for. She refused the offer. After that refusal, she claimed her opportunities at SpaceX suddenly dropped off, with fewer shifts and limited advancement, something she believed was retaliation. She reported the incident to Human Resources and made it clear she was considering legal action. Not long after, Musk reportedly agreed to a $250,000 settlement to keep the matter out of court. At the time, the situation stayed quiet and out of public view. The story didn't surface until 2022, when she decided to speak publicly. That delay caused some people to question the timing and credibility of the claim. Still, the allegations added to a growing list of controversies already surrounding Musk. Then, in early 2025, his former girlfriend filed a lawsuit seeking custody of their children, putting his private life back in the headlines. Around the same period, Musk was also deposed in a defamation lawsuit after accusing a Jewish man online of being a neo-Nazi. Once again, legal trouble followed his public statements. The pattern was familiar by this point. Many of these cases were either settled quietly or dismissed outright, often with the help of his high-powered attorney, Alex Spiro. That legal shield allowed Musk to walk away largely untouched, reinforcing the idea that consequences work differently at his level of wealth and influence. Musk's fixation on freedom, especially free speech, played a major role in his growing interest in Twitter. After repeatedly criticizing the platform for censorship, he announced his intent to buy it outright. He publicly stated, "I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy."
To be totally frank, it's actually just a roofing torch with an air rifle cover. It's not a real flamethrower. And also we're told that various countries would ban shipping of it, but they would ban flamethrowers. So to solve this problem, or the customs agencies, we labeled it not a flamethrower.
He later claimed the company could no longer meet that goal and offered to buy 100% of it. But after presenting himself as a free speech defender, what came next shocked many observers. When Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion in 2022, he doubled down on that narrative. He argued that Twitter's San Francisco roots had turned it into a tool for pushing a political agenda, setting the stage for drastic changes that followed. See, what made the entire situation feel off is that for over 30 years, Elon built his public identity around saving humanity and pushing civilization forward. His mission was always framed as bigger than politics, bigger than money, even bigger than Earth itself. So his sudden obsession with political bias and free speech caught a lot of people off guard. At first, it didn't seem alarming. He restored banned accounts and claimed the platform would now allow open discussion for everyone. That sounded fair on the surface, but the numbers told a very different story. Before Elon took control, Twitter complied with roughly 42 to 50% of government censorship requests. After the takeover, that number reportedly jumped to an average of 98.8% within a certain period. Politics aside, one of his earliest moves raised serious eyebrows. Engineers were reportedly instructed to rewrite the algorithm so his tweets would appear at the top of users' feeds. This reportedly happened after he noticed that President Biden's account was getting more engagement than his own. That wasn't the end of it either. When critics publicly pointed out these changes, their accounts were suspended. Some were even hit with lawsuits, which were later thrown out by a federal judge after it became clear the cases were attempts to silence criticism. In practice, he went from accusing Twitter of being a political megaphone to turning it into his own. Rumors quickly spread that the takeover was never really about the platform or its millions of users. Many speculated it was part of a larger strategy to influence the 2024 election. Musk never confirmed or denied those claims, but he fueled suspicion after donating over $298 million to support his preferred candidate. Things looked even worse when he was later awarded a brand new government role that had never existed before. At that point, it became difficult to tell whether his actions were driven by public interest or personal power. Still, it's only fair to acknowledge that Elon has contributed real value. Starlink has connected remote areas, certain technologies have improved accessibility for disabled people, and electric vehicles have lowered long-term maintenance costs. Even so, the standard he sets feels unreachable for ordinary people, which may be why so few truly understand him. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Elon's transformation and his impact on power, politics, and technology? Drop a comment below, like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the BeyondFame channel for more deep dives. I'll see you on the next one.